Hello, everyone. Welcome to the ColorByFeliks podcast. Today, we have an amazing artist. I'm excited to actually meet her, and I've seen her work on Instagram and social medias. Her name is Eva Volf. She is also from Russia, where I'm from, Rostov, and it's close to Bataysk, right? Rostov, Bataysk?
Yeah, and the Black Sea.
Yes.
Relatively.
So we are from the same city, same town, and now we live in America, right? You live in America. Where do you live now?
Ohio, Cleveland.
Okay. Wow, what a coincidence, right?
Yeah.
And before we jump in, I just wanted to remind all of our listeners to share this episode so we can get Eva some more attention for her art. And Eva, could you share your Instagram handle as well so people can follow along while they listen?
Thank you so much. Yes, it's eva.volf.
Okay.
eva.volf.
Perfect.
And my YouTube is Eva Volf. Just and everywhere you'll find me. It's either eva.volf or Eva Volf. So that's quite easy. Everywhere: Facebook, Twitter, TikTok.
Perfect. Go follow her, guys. Give her some support.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was an amazing coincidence. I can't believe it.
I know. So when did you move? When did you move from there?
I think so. Now it's around 8 years ago.
Oh,
So
okay.
I didn't move here as a child like you did. It was already we decided to do that. So
but what made you want to what made you want to move here to America?
First of all, we have family here, so it was kind of family reunion. Then my husband got a job offer. That also makes sense. And at that point of time, I already was an artist and a full-time artist. So it was, I could do my business from anywhere in the world. So why not? And all our 3 kids were born back there in Russia. The youngest one was only 2 years old. So we also did the research and how good the education is. So we also chose the place to settle. We research school districts, the ratings. And I never, in these 8 years, I've never regretted this decision. Wow. I really love this country, how diverse it is. Ledges and forests and lakes and the ocean. 8 years ago, I saw the ocean for the first time.
Wow.
So that was why right now I even it's even part of my brand, Eva Volf Seascapes. Mm-hmm. Up to that point, I painted also florals and wildlife and anything I was commissioned to paint. So, but it was I can't even put it into words, but it's different energy from any seas, any bodies of water I've ever seen, any lakes, any rivers, because it's huge and powerful, and it never stops. Even when it's calm, the waves are still it's like breathing. Mm-hmm. And I believe that the ocean and the water element, it's the source of life. Mm-hmm. That's why I chose, obviously it is we are all made of water, 90%, yeah. But metaphorically as well. What do people look on other planets to prove that we can somehow, make a colony on Mars? Yeah, mm-hmm. They look for water, right? So it's so essential to our being, and and not only me. I talked to so many other people. Many people find that they are happier by the water, near the water, on the water. You guys moved closer, right?
Yeah, we just went surfing today.
We actually, before we came to do this interview, we came from the ocean. We were surfing and swimming in the ocean for a little bit. So that was, you're right. It's very healing. The ocean is just beautiful. It's like, I've heard this before, that 2 things that humans don't get tired of looking is the ocean and fire, like when it's burning. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and house prices too are just so much more expensive by the water. That should tell you all you need to know,
Exactly.
Yeah. So your work is focused on water and ocean, and I've seen your work, and it's so beautiful. And you do oil painting, right? Everything's oil painted, and I really love your choices of canvases. Sometimes you paint on circular ones, and those are very, very cool. The way the composition you know lay it out on them is very cool. So I guess like we're just gonna, you know, we want to get to know you a little better, and those people listening want to hear your story and how you started back in Russia, you know, how you started making it, because you said you've been doing this full time. So how did you become full-time artist in Russia, and how did that start for you?
And what was it like growing up in Russia and like liking art? Like, were you supported by your family and stuff like that?
Uh, I'd say that I have never ever considered it as a career up to when I was 30. So it was always a hobby, something nice to just, uh, I was doodling, I was doing watercolor to relax, to take my mind off all the stressful stuff. I went to an art studio as I was a kid, and then at a local art center when I was an adult. But I got my education in teaching, teaching languages, Russian, English, German. And I was teaching for, I'd say 7 or 8 years, or maybe 9, I don't remember, at the college. So I was 20 something, like 24, young adult, and was also teaching people who were like 20 something, the 20, 19-year-olds. It was a challenging time in my life and very stressful. So that's when I turned to art as a stress relieving practice after work. It just it helped me calm down. And I believe that I really respect teachers who choose it as their career and take it like and teach people all their lives. But for me, I also understand how teachers can burn out. I mean, you can, it's a very stressful job. And and at the same time, life doesn't stop. So we had, I got married, I think at 22. Yeah, and then we had first kid, like 3 years later, second, third. And when I was 30 and I was with my third kid pregnant, I thought that maybe now is the time to change something, because I have the skills. I can already decently paint almost anything. At that time, it was gouache and acrylics. And how it got me thinking, by the way, in Russia, maternity leaves are ridiculously long, especially for teachers. That's one good thing. You can stay there like a year and a half, something like that, and get your average pay. So it gave me a break and a second chance to rethink my life and how can I make that hobby of mine into a full-time job. And at that time, I heard about Etsy and Artfinder. So some online platforms for artists selling their art. And there was a similar thing in Russia. I don't remember, like art something, art market something. I don't remember. So I joined them, opened my stores, and at the same time, I also had a chance to improve my skills and take classes at a local art center focusing on painting in oils. And that was life-changing for me too. So it's, you know, just like a coincidence of good timing and an opportunity to learn and this amazing like period of time when you could like post everything online and get exposure and hopefully sales. And that's how I got hooked on painting these oils. And I painted so much that my house was filled with paintings. My friends, my parents, and we were thinking, what we're gonna do with that? And then when I opened the Etsy shop and listed several items, and of course, like as an advice to all people who are getting started, you should, well, that's what worked for me. Reviews are everything online. So go above and beyond and keep your prices very, very affordable. because you need to build up your reputation. And with time, by the time I had to go back to work my full-time job as a teacher at a college, I decided not to. And I had my husband, who, I mean, we are still together. I hopefully we will stay together. Forever. I think that having a partner in your life with, like monthly or bi-monthly salary, that helps, because artist business, yes, sometimes we get nice sales, especially November, December, like the best of the year.
Best time of the year.
Yes. Sometimes some months are more quiet, and you barely think, can you pay your bills? Because life in America, it is expensive. Insurances, mortgages, and everything. But I made this decision, and not to go back to a job I didn't want to do anymore. I was good at being a teacher, and I think that I might be maybe in future, when my kids grow up, maybe I'll teach art somewhere. But as of now, I so enjoy just creating, painting, and when we travel extensively. All my kids and my husband, we are all ocean lovers. And just here in Ohio, it's 30 minutes from us to go to Lake Erie and watch sunsets and sail and surf and swim. So it's just, like they enjoying the beach, I'm sketching or taking reference pictures. It's kind of lifestyle for us.
That's
so
nice.
That's how it all just fell into one place. Like this as a new art is a new opportunity to make a living. My love for the ocean and just all things water. And I also, about this part of the most important thing in this art career for me in my business is that I can live my life at its fullest. So I also do sports, like I love tennis. I play it competitively. I drive around with my kids everywhere because they do also a lot of sports and school, and so it's just part of life. And I can just be flexible with my time. But when I paint, when I do the computer stuff like digital marketing, so that's what I like, just as you guys, you found your right, your way to live your life at its fullest, right? Because yeah, of course, you can think we have 80 years on average, but who knows? You never know. So never lose a day. Whenever you can go and enjoy your life, and also make something, create something. You're teaching, Felix. That's amazing. I really appreciate that you are not only creating art, but also teaching and sharing.
I agree with you. Thank you, by the way. I agree with you though that teaching isn't easy. People think it's like it comes naturally to you, but I really do think still, even people that do it for a living, it does take a toll and a lot of pressure. I think it does. For me, it's not that easy to teach, but I feel like as a way to give back to the community, I think that's what keeps me going, and I think just seeing like people giving great feedback and their improvements and how they were able to paint with their kids, or or they're retired and they found a hobby again, and it's just messages like that, like just it's worth it, so it's interesting how you chose that path. You decided to move and transition to making art your full-time. At that time, did you already have painting sales? Like on Etsy, you said you started putting, did you get like really fast attraction? Like, how do I say this?
Sales
right away, or it took some time for you to like, all right, I have to
build up your clients and stuff.
Yeah. Or you just jumped in and said, I'm just going to do this full time and whatever happens.
At that time, I was pregnant with my third kid. So it was still the time when, well, here in America, it's more, you get what, like 6 weeks of maternity leave. That's
Yeah.
really fast. There, I had almost a year to figure out my path from now on. So yes, it gave me the time, and I still was paid like almost as much as I was at my job, and my husband, so he always is the main breadwinner in our family. I say that the first sales, of course, they were fewer than I have now, and I priced them, of course, so much more affordable to just establish my reputation and to get views. But it was an amazing feeling when first time in your life you create something that people want to have in their homes and look at it every day of their lives. It's just, it's, well, this is more important for me than getting any awards in juried shows, in any art competitions, because that's the ultimate recognition for me, that you create something that talks to people, that they want to have it and they are ready to pay for it. So what is money? I believe that money is pure energy. It's the energy of gratitude. So they are being grateful that you created it, right? They pay you and they then enjoy. And what is our art? I believe that it's that's also a very interesting process. We perceive reality, something inspires and impresses us, and we kind of reflect on it and digest it, and then we create it in whatever media we work with. So it's so it's kind of like everyday magic.
Yeah.
So that's what also attracts me, and fascinates me still. So I'm grateful for every sale I get now and back then. And with every sale, I think that it's the proof that we should keep going. That
Yes.
there was like everything, like there are prints, more affordable prints, and there are just posters, and there is like digital art. And sometimes you get to think like, maybe oil painting, maybe it's taking too long, and like, is it real? You'll start self-doubting you. But every time we travel again, and I'm there by the ocean, I'm like, oh gosh, I can't stop myself from painting it. It's something that's bigger than me. I can't just watch, like swim. It's not enough. I get so much, like, my roof will just explode if I won't be able to paint it. It's just something I can't do. I can not do. So
I can see it in your art. It's like so beautiful. Your art is amazing. Like when I looked at it with Felix, I was like, wow, that's so amazing. So you are self-taught? You taught yourself?
I think that I found my style. So I got the basics from a local art center. So I don't have an academic education in art, but I got just basics of painting in oils. And then when we moved, back in Russia also, I took some workshops. Here, when we moved here in Cleveland, there is an amazing artist, and I consider him my mentor. John Sargent, who is actually related to John Singer Sargent, famous 19th century portrait painter and landscape painter. So I took workshops from him too, lessons, and we keep in touch, we talk a lot. And then I also traveled to Connecticut, and there I took workshops with Karen Blackwood. And of course, there is always, an abundance of YouTube online workshops, like Byron Pickering, and so much more. So, but I think my style, my technique is like a mix of everything. It's like, we're just like a sponge. So we can learn only what we are ready to learn at this point. Any beginner will take a workshop with like world famous artists. He or she will learn only what they are ready to learn at this point.
Mhm.
So I consider myself mostly self-taught, but I'm very grateful to all those living masters, seascape painters who were generous enough to share their techniques, secrets, and it's just, I think that it's very also cool that we live now. We have Instagram. We all kind of keep an eye on what's happening in the world. Um, you could say on our competitors, right, and friends and other artists. So I believe that we are all part of a global artist community, and we all like see what's trendy now, and what sometimes it's difficult to keep your
Focus.
to be true to yourself, and but still be on top of the trends. But yeah, it takes some time, but it's very important to find your style. Felix, I really love what you're up to the last, I think, couple months. So including those doodles, I don't know, that's amazing. I think that's you're onto something really, really cool here.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And
Yeah,
it's
I
very
think.
recognizable.
Thank you. I think like you said, it's so important to like experiment and try to find something that is pure to you, like natural, that is not like a copy or steal from something,
Exactly.
but like an inspiration of something, but you like make it your own somehow, and I think that's very important for artists to seek that, and look for that, not be lazy, because sometimes you want to cheat and find sneaky ways to to find easier ways of creating, but honestly,
or even like what you were saying, that now it's just like, even if you don't mean to, sometimes maybe like you see something on Instagram and then it like you end up painting based off of the things that are like popular, so that's why, like, kind of what you were saying, like it's important to like try and stay pure, like with your own creativity, and like not just do things that like will get likes, or like that people will buy or whatever.
Yes, I wanna also mention the importance of being authentic, because I feel that there is so much more I could do on social networks. There is like tricks you could do with reels and this and that, and it's just, but I could just, like a person who has several 100,000 followers, you can just outsource your social networks and just focus on your art career, creating art, but it won't be you. It won't be authentic. So I think that sometimes, I look up at my follower count and it goes down by a little bit. Sometimes it goes up. So I don't know what's happening. Maybe because, part of Russia was like Russia users were banned, or just people get bored, something, or then maybe it just comes in waves, ups and downs. The important thing is, I believe in that you should do your social networks yourselves, because it's part of our business. It's our face. No one can tell our story better than we can.
Yeah.
That's why I manage my own website with the help of my husband, who does the digitals like stuff. But yeah, and I do my own social networks. I wish I could answer to every comment. My followers and fans, I really appreciate you and love you. But life doesn't stop when I want to answer 100 comments. I have my kids, I have my dog, I have life.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's a choice. Do you want to spend hours just say thank you, or live your life? So it's just
balance,
you need to
right?
find a balance.
Yes, I agree. And it's important, because sometimes you can just be so glued to the phone or the computer oftentimes, and miss out on special moments, either with your wife and family. And so actually I was going to ask you, how is that for you, working as an artist, because art takes time to create, and managing, with family time, and has, because you started doing this later on, right? You started approaching art when you had a family. That's, and making this a full-time. This is very encouraging for listeners, because they probably think oh, it's I'm already late, or it's too late. I already started a career.
It's never too late. I'm glad you asked that. Yes, I think it's very liberating because you can choose your own schedule, your own lifestyle based on how many hours you'd like to work. For me, I I really so it's very easy to get distracted, of course. I try to go to my studio whenever the school bus leaves and get back. I mean, get out of it and maybe it depends. Every day is different. Sometimes I paint 3-4 hours a day, and then I do 1-2 hours of just social networks and digital marketing. Sometimes sometimes I spend more time doing computer stuff and less painting. Sometimes I have to just drive to an art center, drop off my paintings for the show, for a juried show, in hope to be juried in or get an award or something, get some exposure. But yeah, my studio time most often ends at 3 p.m. when school bus is about to return. I'm so sorry. Stella, quiet girl. Yeah, I also have a dog.
I actually
Well,
saw
as if
it.
3 kids are not enough, right? Now I got a dog. Well, she's another baby of mine. I just love, and it's a good advice too. So for those who have too many kids, I mean, not too many, but
Too many.
yeah, get a dog. Don't get yeah, you get all the love and without all the diapers. So it's just, I guess it's self-discipline. Because
Yeah.
I know that my husband is at work in the office, so he helps me only after work in the evening, and my kids are at school, so I can't afford to just leisurely like take a nap or something. I understand I have to do something. Yeah, and at the same time, I managed to find time once or twice a week to do sports, because I understand that it's part of my health too. Like keeping like your back like stretched and relaxed, like doing yoga, doing tennis, whatever works for you. Swimming, surfing, that's amazing. Yeah, so it's never too late. In fact, I mean, when you have kids, babies take naps, right? Then they go somewhere to kindergarten, to preschool. Use this time you have to if you want art to be your career, if you want just it to be a hobby, that's also a very cool time to just wind down and to take the stress of life away, to help yourself relax. Yeah.
When did you start doing social media with your art? Have you always shared your art on social media?
I guess somehow I had a hunch to do it. So when Instagram was just a new thing no one really knew about, so it was also like, I don't know when it appeared, 9 years ago or 10 years ago. So somehow, and it's actually my my main platform, I should say. I was a little late to go on TikTok. I wish I knew, but my videos are not very entertaining like you can make it. It's kind of look like longer and more boring. So I tried to mix something up, mash it up with reels and shorts, just to do like shorter and funner, but they're not like very spectacular. Like people pour paint or like they splash and spray.
Like attract, like entertaining
Catchy,
or something.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
So so my process is a little bit like more down to earth, but so I started a long time ago, Instagram and Facebook. I keep my Instagram mostly about my art, while Facebook is also some insights into my personal life, and because honestly, it's all connected. Our travels, our like we drive to the lake a couple times a week, and I mean we have a glacial lake only 10 minutes away where we kayak in summer. Yeah, it's not a big one, but it's my happy place, nearby. And then we try to go to the ocean every 2 months, and I mean it's awesome. I really love. For those of you who are thinking which state is better to live, I like Ohio because it's a good balance of like what you earn and what you spend, and it allows you to vacation anywhere you want. So almost anyone who's working can save and just live a decent life. Social networks are very, very important. But I think once, it was actually my last vacation in June. When we were driving there, the screen of my cell phone just died. iPhone 13, who would know, right? And it was my first week in 7 years without a cell phone. I read 3 books on that vacation. And I mean, it was such a nice thing to have a social networks detox once in a while. So my advice is just do what you can do. Don't get overwhelmed by how many thousands of followers other people have. Be real, be authentic, be you. You can do it all. Be forgiving to yourself. Be easy on yourself.
That's so true.
So that's what I try to do. Because of course, you are the star and there are so many other stars. Oh, I just do what I can do and I'm fine.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's awesome.
Yes,
That's the way to do it. I think that's, if you want to be, like you said, authentic, you just have to not try to I have to reach the top. I have to get you just naturally do it, because even with our stuff, I'm just an artist and still learning and practicing, and
I think
any
we're
other.
all still learning.
Yeah, always learning. And there's so many other artists that are way better than me, and I follow and I'm inspired by them. But we're all in the same journey, and we're doing this. And we started, and our page kind of grew and exploded in different platforms, and it just happened. But it doesn't mean that, I'm the best now. No, it doesn't mean that. I think you're still in the process of always growing and learning, and it's so important to be true to yourself and keep that spirit of humbleness, and kind of learning how to just not have the social media and those things kind of take over your mind, but keeping that, not like the first time when you had that feeling of inspiration to guide you to do the art, keeping that alive, is so important, and so that's awesome that you have that spirit of knowing when to have that balance. And actually recently, me and my wife went camping with my family, and we also kind of we didn't have our phones we did have them, but we weren't working as much. And just that week of just camping, swimming in the lake and just being with family, was so relaxing. It was so nice for the mind. And and just to have that balance, like we talked earlier, is very important.
Yeah. And I think that it's crazy, because I was thinking about this today, actually. It's so much of our lives are based on social media these days. Everyone is constantly on social media, and it could really affect your mind. Even what you were saying, oh, I'm losing followers. What do I do? Or something like that. But it's also at the same time, you have to keep perspective,
Absolutely.
and be content with what you have. And it's kind of what you're saying. It's easy to be oh, look at that person. They have way more followers. They're getting way more engagement, and their art's getting more exposure or whatever. But you should also just be okay, what am I doing? What do I have? Thank you that I have anyone that follows me and supports my art, even that is such a blessing. Even 1,000 people, there's 1,000 people in the world that love your art. And if you keep that perspective, it helps you to not be looking around,
Yeah. And actually we've recently talked to some artists on the podcast, and lately it's been kind of, this topic's been coming about social media, that how Instagram, the algorithm, and all these platforms are changing. It's happening to everyone, even us, and everyone that we've talked to. It's the same situation. So it's instead of stressing out and worrying, am I doing something wrong? Are people bored of my artwork? No, because it's happening to me too. It's happening to other artists that we talk to. It's happening to everyone.
These reels, right?
Yeah.
In video ads or whatever they were called, and now they disappeared. What happened? Now there are only bonuses and so on. I also want to mention another part of. So, do you notice that we keep talking about balance today a lot? So balance in your life and art, balance in what? I don't know. what. So now I want to talk about balancing your social media and real I'd say like brick and mortar venues for to get your art exposure. I think that one is balancing another. That's why I recommend all artists who consider art as their career to also take part, participate in art shows, not only online, but real at galleries. Very often, I think that Cleveland is a medium-sized city, but I mean, in almost every state you live, there is an art center, there are art galleries. So I think that you should just see their website, see calls for artists, and try to enter those juried shows. First of all, it gives you exposure when you get in. You get to meet your local art community. That's also important. Hear their feedback, get to know your competition. If you get an award, that's how, I think this is how you price your art. First of all, you start very affordable, but with every award, with every article about you, something that gives more credibility, more distinguishes you and proves your worth.
Yeah.
That's how you build up your value as an artist, and you prove your worth.
Yes.
So that's why I think it's not enough to just focus on only social media to get exposure. But it kind of goes hand in hand. When I get an award at a show, I post about it on social media. And guess where I get my sales? Most often, it's not from a gallery. Well, maybe if I lived in Florida, maybe in future. But here in Cleveland, people love art. But I get honestly very few buyers here locally. Most of my sales are to California, Florida, and a lot of to Europe. I mean, all over the world. So it's kind of, it should go hand in hand. Your real life experience and being an artist in your community, and not only in your state. Participate in, for example, I joined Oil Painters of America, and then there are many other clubs or organizations that really speak about your status, that you are worth something, that you're good at what you do. So because anyone can, like makeup tutorials, anyone can be pretty, anyone can create something. But if it's already in a juried show, and if you got an award, that's something.
It's like what you're saying is like participating in these in person kind of shows and recording and like posting it on social media. It's like you're building a resume. It's like your resume is becoming stronger.
You can't build it. I have hundreds of followers on Instagram. You can't. But yes, that's right.
Yeah, so that's a good advice. I think that's important. I mean, that's how I started too. When I was right after high school, I just did my first show. It was in high school. It was like a project, in school. And one of the teachers really loved one of the paintings, and she bought it. And it was for $175. And I was like so happy. I was like, no way, somebody bought my art. I'm so shocked. Somebody bought my art. And she actually told me, she's like, hey, I would love to see more of your work. Can you bring a portfolio of your like a resume of your portfolio so I can see? And I was like, what is that? I didn't know nothing. I was just starting out. But then that got me thinking, like, wow, okay, I really love art, and somebody really just appreciated my art. I'm gonna try to take my art and try to participate either in a show or like put it in coffee shops and kind of get it out there in person, and it builds. That's how you build slowly your resume, and your name gets known, and people, that's a natural way of doing it. It's like with anything, so
let's be honest, it's also a little bit intimidating, right? Entering juried shows, because people mostly are seeking for like some political context or some message behind your art. So if I submitted, for example, a piece that's behind me, like just a tranquil waterscape, it would never get, it might be juried in just for the skillfulness on it, but not get any award. So when you need to find, like, you need also be flexible, think about the topic they are suggesting. For example, I don't know, just from top of my mind, it was like identity, places, and people. There was a show, and I submitted a painting of a lighthouse there. Yes, I think lighthouse on the beach, and they called it Light Seeker. So you need to think about the concept, not only just a pretty painting. That will not do. That's not enough anymore for Judith.
Yes.
You need to think about the message. So what is it? And if it's a stormy painting, something like, call it something, I don't know, stormy something first. Yes, something. Yeah, depending on the, something yellow.
That's what my wife always tells me, is that whenever I'm creating something, it can't be just a skill thing. It's good to have the skill, but it also, you have to have some feeling, something that is more, and maybe it brings out some kind of emotion, where if it's focused on a happy feeling or a sad feeling, or angry, or whatever it is.
Yeah, well, I always tell Felix, like, there's like those paintings that, and he even tells me this, like, there's paintings that I've done that it's like, I feel like I'm just doing it just for like the practice of like the skill. But then there's paintings that I like love, and those are the ones that have like an actual meaning. And and I actually agree with that. I think that like his best pieces are the ones that I know there's like a deeper meaning, and it's like it just adds so much to it.
And it's okay to practice. It's okay to practice and just like put it out there, like share your sketches, like sometimes people want to see how you start and your rough drafts, and to see how it became, so like all these paintings that we're posting, some people are posting so much a day. That's okay, because that's like, it's like, I treat it as, most of the paintings that I do, I treat it as practice and learning, a stepping stone to the next level. I feel like there's so much more to see and so many different ways to create, and I'm excited about it, So
that's the beauty of art.
Yes.
I mean, anything,
never ending.
anything you do, yes, you just strive for perfection, or at least there is no such thing, right? Just I don't know, but something more, something different, something deeper, right? It doesn't have to be more realistic. No, it might be in another direction, but find something new.
So you guys think that the intent is more important? Because like, as an artist, you probably wouldn't just go up to somebody and tell them, most people are just going to be looking at your art. So you're not going to have the chance to explain to them what it's about, or maybe you wouldn't even want to if you had the chance. Exactly. So do you think that just having that intent when you make it is important enough, and that like people will feel the intent just by looking at the painting, and they don't have to get it right, but like if that intent wasn't there and it was just a sketch or a practice, they might not feel it. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Absolutely. Yes. If I take the ocean again, it can be stormy, and sometimes people like to read descriptions of my listings online, but I think it actually might be distracting, because for some people, and the beauty of it, that each person connects with a piece of art in their own way. For some people, storm might be dramatic and scary and terrifying and destructive. For some of them, it might be cleansing and a start of something new. So, a beautiful drama. So I do include references to where it was painted. I mean, or maybe what was it inspired by, the location, the time of the day, the season. But yeah, it's all open to interpretation, and especially with semi-abstract or abstract art. Yes, we have our
So it's like you're giving people signposts almost. It's like you're not spelling it out for them, but you're just giving them little like road signs along the way, maybe to like
guide them.
Give them a hint.
I don't really include, like details like fish, like seaweeds. Like I painted like, first of all, most of my paintings are more interior painting. So they are large, and they're not too busy. They allow you to imagine something. Maybe there is a shark or a fish somewhere deep there, right? Or whatever you think. And it's not like too busy for your mind. It's calming and peaceful. Yeah, and definitely, for sure, each person sees and has their own connection to that. Some of them remember the time when they were first at the ocean as a kid, just entering this crystal clear water on a trip with their parents, and those circles, those ripples coming from you, and and they even at the same time, I never really paint specific geographical like marks, like I don't paint like well, if I'm commissioned, I am. I can do anything, but on my own, it's just mostly sea and sky. There is and light. Of course, the light is everywhere, yeah, but there is not really lighthouses or whatever can be special, like mountains or special headlands. So it can be. It's an like an abstracted place of coastal bliss. It can be anywhere, in the world. That's why so many people relate to it. And I write, it was inspired by the Gulf of Mexico, but they can see the same, almost the same view, I don't know, on the Red Sea, Mediterranean, Adriatic, anywhere.
I love your painting behind you. Like even just looking at it, I'm like,
Yeah, I think like what Sebastian said about the intent and kind of, I think like, so the way I work is like, a lot of the times I paint to practice, like just to practice and continue my learning something from the painting that I'm doing. So I'm not treating it as like a fine art or anything like that. But then there's times where I sketch and spend hours on trying to really think and put my thought process. And I don't even know sometimes I can't even explain the idea or the feeling, but I just work on this design or something, and I know that I put a lot of energy to that sketch. And then from there, I know that something is special about this that I don't even know, but I know that I've put a lot of energy to it. So I'm going to do it. And then that's how I treat it as like a fine art, because I know that there's a lot of like energy that put in, but I sometimes can't even explain what it is, so it's very interesting. And then so those paintings, so it's very interesting because sometimes I do a painting that like will take me 5 hours, and then a painting that will take me weeks that I focus on, and then somebody just really loves that 5-hour painting and wants to buys it, and I'm like, what, really? I don't get it, and it's like, so sometimes you can put so much energy and thought process or whatever, and then the world will just tell you, that, like you said, they'll translate it differently. Like I like how you said about the storm. Somebody could say that it's like a new beginning, or somebody could be fearful of that, so there's two different kind of sides. So it's interesting how you like, so is overthinking a good thing?
No, I don't know.
Let me show one of these, like, this is like mostly like a breaking wave.
That's beautiful.
And I mean, I paint like mostly like just waterscapes, like calmer waters and waves too, and skies too, and everything. And that's amazing how people really see different things in them. I mean, in the same view. And that painting that you spend so much time, have the belief that there will be a person who will connect with it. It just takes time.
Yeah, and I think it's like leaving space for that connection is so important. It's like you've discovered that. It's like, if you crowd your picture, your image with all this meaning, it's like it doesn't give enough space for the person to make it theirs. And you really take that idea to its extreme, I feel like, not just with interpretation, but also just like experiencing it, like you were saying, when you look at it, like the way that you feel when you look at something so big and so almost abstract, Yeah,
that's a good point.
It's like you're like giving them that gift of space that they can then fill.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's like you're including them to join you in your, your kind of, it's like a partnership, with people, you're allowing them to enter into your imagination, but also inviting them to add their imagination onto the piece.
But it's also pretty freeing, like when you think about that, because it's um, like it's, you never know what piece is going to resonate with someone and when that person's going to come along. So I feel like that's why it's good to just like share everything and not like be afraid to share your work, because even for example, like Felix was painting this series of like these weird faces and I was like, babe, those are weird. But he was still sharing them. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like if that's what's inspiring you, you can share it. And someone ended up buying one. And I'm like, what? That's so weird.
Yeah, it shocked me too. But again, I just did that for fun. I was like, I'm just gonna do some, something different and challenge myself and kind of do it for fun. It was, and then you just never know. You just never know like who is watching and what, like I think it's so important to keep exploring and trying different styles and growing. And I think it's including your past experiences. Like you were saying that all these teachers that you learned from, you were able to implement into your work and find your style of creating the way you're happy, with how you're working, And I guess that's an interesting question for you too, is are you happy with where you are with your style? And do you have any further goals with like your paintings, or are you like content with where you are?
I really love where I am now, but I'm not content, and I will work and I will improve. And I think that's when it gets boring, if a person is absolutely happy with how he or she is now. Like, where is the room to improve? Like, where is, I think like life and art should never stop. Your development should never stop. Or it's already old age if they stop. If you don't want to learn anymore, that's when it's over. So I would love to take more workshops with just, and I will, and just developing your own style, practicing, and better and deeper. For me, it's more realistic and more. There is ocean is very changeable, so there is like numerous things I could focus on and paint better. And yeah, I think it would be too boring to just be content with how you are now, what you can do now. No, never.
Yeah. No, I
Never
agree.
enough.
I agree. That's so.
I agree totally. Yeah.
I think if you're too happy, like if everything's
If you're
perfect,
too
if you're too happy,
What
like
else is there?
if you're too happy and things are great, then I feel like could be a dangerous place, because for a long time, if that's just you're gonna be like, all right, you're gonna get bored, you're just gonna get tired.
And I think
bored.
it's also very inspiring, because like maybe if you're not at the place that you want to be, whether it's like in your business or your art or wherever you are, if you're not where you want to be yet, like it's okay. Like it's part of the journey, and no one said that it's going to be easy, because if it was easy, then you would be, like we were just saying, too happy and too content. So sometimes struggle is like good for the human spirit, I think.
Absolutely. Like a metaphor I can mention here. Quite recently, we went on a walk on the beach at sunset, and we saw those little, I think they are lesser back baby sea turtles.
Oh.
And finding their way to the ocean. The beach was so long, and there are also other people on the beach, and we really wanted, to just take them, pick them up, and carry them to the ocean to help them. But they were park rangers, beach rangers, and they said, don't do it. They need this journey to develop their muscles to swim. And the same thing with butterflies. Yeah, you can't help the butterfly break out of its pupa, or it won't be able to fly. So we need all this. We need challenges. we need struggle, we need setbacks to be better and to be ourselves, to reach our potential. That's a very good thought. Absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah,
I literally love that.
Yeah, me too. I think that's a good place to transition to Ask an Artist, because I think that's the kind of thought that we should let people marinate on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely. That was good.
Yeah, I think that's so cool. It's like, yeah, don't view art as a destination. It's just a journey. And then even like my 2 cents on this is that you guys are seeing a bunch of winners on this podcast, because that's interesting, right? Like, it makes for good stories. We want to share artist stories with you, but you have to remember that all winners were losing for a time, for potentially a long time, not losing, losing, but just toiling in obscurity, like, and it's because they loved it and they were struggling and nobody knew their name. And you don't see that. You don't think about the 10 years it took before you knew this person. Some people might get that viral fame when they're teenagers, but that's the exception. Most people have to struggle to get to where they are. And it's like, I think that even with, like, I don't know, man, like, I'm 32 right now and I still haven't had my big break, but like, I'm at the point now where I'm really at peace with that, to be perfectly honest. Like, I think I have a feeling with the way things are going that it will come someday, but like, even if it didn't, I literally got to the point finally where I'm like, you know what? I just love doing this stuff so much that I don't even care anymore. Like, literally, that is so, because it's like, I know I said we're moving on, but I just had to get this out. Like, it's
go ahead.
It's like, because think of it this way. What happens? Like, look at Eva's lifestyle. Her life is, she's designed her life in a way that she likes. Her life is about being with her family, going to the water, all that stuff, traveling. It's like, say you get the money and the fame or whatever it is you think you want. It's like, okay, so now you've got that. That's a checkbox, but you still have to live your life. You still have to make relationships with people. You still have to fill 24 hours a day, with activities, whether it's cooking or sleeping or going to places with the people you love. Like, that's not going to change your day-to-day life. Like, I know, Felix, it's not any different. You still have to live your life. You still have to build relationships and build the family and all that stuff. And it's like, so whether you're famous and rich or not, like, a lot of the stuff is actually very much the same, it still applies. So don't wait for that to come for you to start being happy and for you to start, like, yeah, just enjoy the process, I guess, is what I'm saying. Is like, embrace those struggles, because that's all part of it. It's like, yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely true, Sebastian. I want to just add that people actually feel that you are enjoying the process of creating your art.
Right.
That's well, I bet there are other people, who just art can be a therapy too, right? To express your anger, to express your rage. And there are some customers who appreciate it too. But for me, the enjoying the process is so important. I feel like I'm meditating in my studio, because winters in Ohio can be gray and long. And when I'm 2 hours with those low gray clouds, when I paint this, I feel like I'm there. I feel like so at peace, and people feel the same thing when they look at my painting. So it's enjoying the process is so important.
Yeah, that's the thought that I was trying to get to, I guess, when I was rambling there, is that, like, when I was saying it's not just the relationships and the way you live your day-to-day life, it's also the thing that you're actually doing. Is that, that the accolades and the attention, stuff like that, that is a small moment in time. The majority of your time, even after you're famous or whatever, the majority of your time still has to go to your craft. So if you don't like that craft, if you're just doing it to be famous, you're not going to have a very happy life. Like, you have to do that thing that really, like, in the moment makes you happy, that thing that you could do for 5 hours a day and have it feel like fun. That's kind of the goal.
Yeah, we were talking with Andrea recently that there is really, everyone knows this, but there is no shortcuts, really. Like, you have to do the work. It's with, like, pretty much anything, not just art. but because we do art, I can relate that I cannot cheat my way into doing this. I can only be doing the work, and it's sometimes a lot of the times it's not always like just this crazy moment or whatever. It's very quiet, a normal day. Normal day, you wake up and you go to your studio and you do a little bit of work, and whenever you can, and it's just little normal days. Every day adds up to something bigger. So you cannot run away from trying to skip those days. It's important to just do it. Start somewhere and just take baby steps. And we've talked about this earlier, but I think it's so important to remember that when we create.
Absolutely. Well, I think that that's actually better than Ask an Artist, because if we did Ask an Artist now, it'll feel too light. I think that was
Okay.
That's a good thing to end on, because I think that's better. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Ava, for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Thank you,
We
Eva.
loved
I really
hearing your
enjoyed
story.
our time together. Thank you. You're amazing host, Sebastian. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like I'm with friends again, honestly.
Aww.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, I can tell that you're just really a true. I mean, everyone's an artist, but I can tell that you've just given a lot of thought to what it means to be an artist, and I think that's really cool. And I think that people are going to learn a lot from this episode.
Yeah, and also I love your story and how you. One of the things that inspires me, is that you're a mother, and you manage to have that discipline and strength to do it all,
to pursue what you love.
And that's very encouraging for me, and I bet to many listeners. So thank you again, Eva, for being here and sharing your story. And maybe in the future we'll have you back and see where you are.
I would love to. Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool. And guys, remember to give Eva a follow, Eva Volf. And on social media, share this episode with your friends, anyone who you think this could inspire. This will really help get Ava some more exposure and push the podcast forward. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Take care.